Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. We're in week 2, match 2 of the Championships 10. We're in 3v3. This is the Friday night live stream, so it's going to be a little more laggy than usual. I've chopped this one up into different segments, just small ones for my attacks only. There's a lot of different discussion in between that would probably just aggravate you. Frankly, Solo and Adastra had at that point already drank an undisclosed amount of non-alcoholic beverages, and so they were having trouble staying on topic. And if you want to see the whole match, or the whole live stream rather, I'm going to leave that in the video description below. So check that out. And otherwise, folks, this match is going to be interesting because the first match that I had in this week and the one right before that, I lost 2 in a row and needed to redeem myself. I'd been facing double Galactic Legends both times, and this time I was facing a single Galactic Legend. I personally have had only one Galactic Legend. I've been facing a ton of Galactic Legends. I've been making a big deal of it. For those of you who haven't been watching me a whole lot, it's been this ongoing saga. And what I wanted to see, because I had only played in 3v3 against people with double Galactic Legends, with only a single Galactic Legend, I wanted to see if it was possible. Like I wanted to see how I would do against single Galactic Legends, and this is my chance to show that. And anyways, I guess you can see how it goes in the ensuing video. And the hope is, of course, that I would win and continue to play. So let's see how I did, and I'll see you at the end. Alright, so you can see here that my opponent only had Galactic Legend Rey for me to face, which is exciting. I hadn't done that yet in this 3v3 championships. So facing a dude named Mess. I don't remember what thing I said to make fun of them. Here are my defenses, and you'll note that I have Jedi Luke in the front. It's not a very good Jedi Luke squad, in fact, but I wanted to try that. Probably should have put Shock T with him instead of Old Ben. And otherwise, I was trying the Stormtrooper Han lead up top. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then in the back, of course, I have the full bastard Darth Revan squad and a bunch of other decent, if not wonderful squads. So pretty revamped defense, lots of good squads here, and I thought I was ready to move forward. So when the stream started, or rather when the round started, I saw that my opponent had placed an incredibly tough defense compared to what they normally set. They had a Darth Revan squad, they had General Skywalker on there, General Grievous, of course, and then on the bottom they had Rey with Malak and Bastila, which is apparently a really strong combo in 3v3. Malak, of course, with any Galactic Legend is amazing, and then the Resistance Hero Bros with Finn. So it wasn't going to be any kind of a pushover match. Now, of course, the first target priority for me was going to take out this Supreme Leader, this Rey team. I did keep Supreme Leader Kylo in, so I needed to make sure that I could actually beat that team. And I know that some of the viewers on Twitch had been kind of voicing that it wasn't necessarily a team that I wanted to mess with lightly with Supreme Leader Kylo. The fact is, though, I needed to kill it with something, and Kylo was going to be the team that would do the best. So not really sure what the people watching were necessarily thinking. Like, obviously I need to do something. So took my Supreme Leader Kylo, and then I took Thrawn and Hux, which are a great combo. I know that other people like to take like Hermit Yoda and WAT, and that does work, but I really like this combination because we can keep Rey from taking a bunch of turns. Hux keeps everyone from losing their advantage and keeps Kylo taking turns. So very first thing, I wanted to stun both of the adds, namely Malak first, and then you want to fracture Rey right away. After that, I had already stunned 2 people, so I could start getting some siphon going. And so now the goal here is we need to make sure that I can get my ultimate before Rey gets hers. And that's not too tough. We want to make sure that Malak is dead as quick as we can as well. And Bastila, there's, a lot of things to do, even though we only have 3v3. However, this match isn't really that difficult. Now, Malak did present a pretty interesting challenge. I needed to make sure that I could take him out. And so here I was debating what to do. I needed to see if I could kill Malak first, Bastila first, or Barriss rather. Took out Barriss in the end because Barriss was light side, and if Rey went into her ultimate, then I would be hitting. I could be hitting Malak and taking him out while Rey was still in her ultimate. So that was kind of my rationale. I already had enough to show that I had, or rather, I already had enough to get into my ultimate. The question was, should I pop my ultimate at the same time as Rey? And they said that I should, the guys that I was on with, and frankly, I could have survived this big hit from Rey if I hadn't popped my ultimate then, though it did seem a little bit dicey at the time. So, I did survive, and now it's just a matter of making sure that Rey does not get her ultimate again, or if she does, that we have our ultimate back up. And time does kind of favor us at this point, just because it's easier to get our ultimate in 1v1. And anyways, I ended up with 46. It's not the most amazing of banners, but it did work just fine. 46 is something you have to accept after a while. So now we're taking out the other squads here on the bottom, and the Finn Poe team is pretty obviously earmarked for Commander Luke, because other teams trying to take it out, even higher level teams like Padme, can really struggle against this composition because they do so much crazy damage. General Skywalker I've seen actually get blown off the board. There's a lot of combinations and teams that lose to this. Jedi Revan has even struggled with it, with bad RNG. So Commander Luke, though, it's pretty easy. You want to immediately stun Finn first, and then you want to take Finn out. And this is Resistance Hero Finn, not the original Finn. So take Finn out, and now we want to take Poe out because he's the one who's doing all the damage. But that Finn had already had a bunch of turn meter. He was about to heal Poe and try to taunt, and obviously he did manage to do it. I was trying to reduce his turn meter, didn't really work well enough, but still managed a 53 banner win against that squad. So not too bad. And now all that's left is this Kylo with a couple low gear First Order, which is not something I'm necessarily accustomed to. And what I was trying to figure out is what squad I wanted to use. In the end, I ended up wanting to take Sith Trio. And the reason for that is I wanted to save all my really good teams. And the fact is, Trio just doesn't take out all the meta teams anymore. You kind of need them as spot removal. They're very similar in power level to like a Jedi Training Rey team or something. I realized that they probably have a little more utility, frankly, than I'm giving them credit for here with my audio. But the truth is, they they've really diminished in power, and so if you need to use them to clear a halfway strong squad like First Order, then just do it instead of waiting for like a really juicy team, and then you come into the fight against a really juicy team and you just lose because all these other teams have either received buffs or they are not necessarily going to even be challenged even in their first iteration by Treya. Instead, you want to just take this team and get a guaranteed win with it if you can, and especially clearing the front zone is so important. We want to make sure that we're accomplishing that first and foremost. So I did decide to execute Kylo there. He's the one who was going to be difficult to kill, and now just try to take out First Order Executioner. And I'm speeding this up a little bit because he has a lot of hit points, and he has no hope of actually killing any of these characters. I have a small hope with Scion to be able to recharge or regenerate all of my protection with a few big hits. And so you'll note that I try to drag the battle out with Scion, just trying to wait, and actually I could annihilate Kylo here, and I chose to do that. I probably could have gotten some protection back for Scion and gotten 54. I'm not actually sure now that I look at it. So one way or another, I did manage to get first turn or first shot kills on the entire front zone, and now we're going to face this back zone. There isn't anything super crazy back here, so happy enough. They did have Old Republic back there without a ton of relics. Now relics make this a different story, but their volume of attacks is so high that original Kylo, even without a leader, can just totally demolish this squad in a little bit of time. So you'll see Kylo missing quite a bit because he gets blinded by mission. But the blind isn't as consistent as it would need to be to totally shut him down. And so you can see, like he's boosting his attack damage quite a bit every time he gets hit. And so what's happening, I did an AoE and it just like one-shot Karth. And you'll see that eventually he uses his special, and it just one-shots Zalbar as well. And then, so Mission is just hanging out alone. He's blinded, so he couldn't take her out. But in the end, he did. His special at the end gives him up to max protection and health. And so I get 56 against an Old Republic squad that is, frankly, just not well suited to Grand Arena at this point, at least in Division 1 in like 6.6 million. So anyways, up top here, I wanted to do that Kylo one because it was the most obvious. Like clearly I'm going to use Kylo against that really bad for Old Republic team. Now I want to spend a minute though talking about this Darth Revan squad. So you can see I've superimposed awkwardly the screenshot of Darth Revan with Bastila and Sith Empire Trooper. And what I'm trying to do here is take out this Darth Revan squad with Vader. However, there's a couple unique challenges, of course. Darth Revan is faster than everyone, and Vader, if he's in the lead, is going to get feared. The second he gets feared, it's probably just game over. So the question is, how do we get around that? And the answer is, if you have a pre-taunt, then Darth Revan hits the pre-taunt, and that makes the fear that he uses on his first attack hit both Sith Empire Trooper and whoever the Sith Trooper's leader is. And in this case, if we use WAT as the leader, we're clearly not getting any boosts from Darth Vader's leadership or anything. But in this case, WAT will get feared, so will Sith Empire Trooper, and Vader will actually just remain unscathed. The other piece of this is you put the weapons tech onto Darth Vader first. So WAT goes first before anyone else does. He puts the weapons tech on Darth Vader. Once he puts the weapons tech on Vader, then Darth Revan goes. He puts fear on Sith Empire Trooper and WAT, and then Darth Vader, because his opponent took a turn. Darth Vader gains 15% turn meter and ends up going before Bastila can go. Now, if he's still too slow and can't go before Bastila, this does not work. I should also add that if the third was not Sith Empire Trooper and instead Malak, Malak totally shuts this down completely, because that means that Darth Vader can't gain bonus turn meter from WAT and the weapons tech. So I will show you guys how it goes. It's an interesting theory, and I'd been talking about it for a while. The most recent match I had someone told me that Jedi Luke wasn't the best counter for Darth Revan, that in fact WAT lead was, and after looking into it, I think that any team with Malak and Darth Revan is going to fail. But other than that, it's wide open. So check out this video here. Alright, so jumping into the fight here with WAT lead. And they have a pre-taunt as well. So you put the weapons tech immediately on Vader. Then Darth Revan goes, puts fear on WAT and Sith Empire Trooper. We're going to pop Murderous Mayhem or whatever it's called. And now we want to target someone who is not Darth Revan and put up fear and all of that madness. Or not fear so much as put up dots and other debuffs. And you can see that Darth Revan has 5 debuffs already. I ended up doing over 500 or 300k damage to him with my saber toss. And now we just have to try to clean up as best we can. It's a pretty satisfying kill. The fact is, Darth Revan is debuffed like crazy, because not only does he have debuffs from Darth Vader, he also has a bunch of debuffs from himself, from ferocity, and those ferocity stacks also make his defense significantly worse. So Darth Vader with the weapons tech, he doesn't have a leadership, but he does have a lot of just good rules in general. It works pretty well. So as you can see, I missed an opportunity. I probably could have done a saber throw on Bastila a minute ago, but didn't necessarily work, and or I didn't necessarily think about it. So instead I had to take her out using a force crush, which was kind of fun. And it is kind of a messy fight after Darth Revan is gone, because Bastila is no slouch either. So anyways, ended up with 49 banners, but we did take out a Darth Revan squad with Bastila on our first attempt. And now the rest of the match is kind of wide open in a way. There is General Skywalker here, and he is absolutely a threat. He's got 5s, he's got Echo, it looks like. So I decided I had my own 501st, and I didn't necessarily, I'd already used my Luke on that Fin Poe team. Decided to take my own General Skywalker in here. And the mirror match in 5v5 is kind of miserable and dumb. In 3v3, it's really not much different. The biggest question being, like, which clones did you take? Because normally you can take all the clones, but in this case you can't really. If you can make Anakin sit down fast, of course, that's awesome. And then you have to kill 5s, and so you want to make sure you don't kill Echo if you possibly can, because 5s will just sacrifice himself, and that will be miserable. But once you're able to take out 5s, then the hope is, of course, that you can just kill the other clone before Skywalker stands up. And my Skywalker finally sat down at the very end, but I did have her execute available, and I took it. I did take a minute to put it on 1x speed here, yeah, it's a pretty cool amount of damage that he does. 52 banners. I was shocked. I've never had that smooth of a General Skywalker mirror match before. Though, to be fair, 3v3 is just a weird game mode, and I never know quite exactly what to expect. So at this point, all of my other teams were kind of overkill a little bit. Decided to take this Jedi Revan squad in against their General Grievous squad. General Grievous is, of course, pretty strong. I did check his stats, however, and his health stat is just not very good. Instead of like the 150k-ish level that you're supposed to be at with Grievous, depending on your crit damage or health triangle, instead of the 150k or so, he had like 110k, I believe. So the one problematic thing about this squad is I don't have a Dispel available. So Droideka, when he's in damage immunity mode, he is completely immune to damage entirely. Now, here I was wanting to know, like, what should I do? Should I kill Magna Guard here? Or should I just, hit Grievous, hit Droideka, what do I do? And I decided to just rip the bandage off, kill Magna Guard. Grievous eventually got a turn, but then we can get a mark on him, and the rest of it is basically over. I mean, Droideka can still make our lives difficult if he wants to do his Annihilate ability, and he did end up actually killing Revan, at least with General Grievous's help, but that only triggered Savior on Revan, so that meant I actually regrew all my health and protection, so that actually helped Banners a little bit, assuming that Droideka wouldn't do that again and one-shot my Jedi Revan. And so here I'm just trying to decide, like, what exactly can I do? And I decided to just mark Droideka, because that gives him buff immunity, which means next time he tries to roll up to get that damage immunity, he won't actually be able to receive that buff. So in a way, I kind of trapped him. Even if he did get another turn, he wouldn't be able to roll into his safety net. So now we can just take him out and move forward 54 banners. And one thing I want to note about this opponent is they don't attack until like the last hour. The final hour is when they like to attack for whatever reason. Sometimes they don't even attack. They are truly a mess, as their name kind of implies. But so I was showing all my offense and defense because I felt pretty confident, frankly. This wasn't going to be a super difficult match, I thought, only by virtue of them not having 2 Galactic Legends. I know that's a ridiculous way to look at things, but that's kind of how it works anyways. That's just how it works. Now, this is maybe the most interesting match or fight of this entire match, frankly, just because like I'm using bounty hunters to counter droids and Nute, and I started off just trying to kill B2, and I realized he has too much health and protection for how much damage I had, and frankly, B1 was going to just keep healing B2 anyways, and I wouldn't actually be able to get through B2. So what I ended up deciding was first kill Nute, who we can just kill with one shot, because even though he revives normally, I have the Jango Unique, which prevents revives. I have the Bossk Execute that also prevents revives. So then I decided, okay, so B1 is healing B2 too much. The truth is, though, if it's just B2 hitting me, and he's going to be taking a ton of bonus turns because I don't have any way to stop him. I don't have days or anything. The fact is, though, those debuffs don't necessarily do a huge amount to me if on their own. And so even though B1 is going as well, and he's also hitting me, I do have enough survivability to probably outlast some of what they're doing. The hope, of course, is that we can take out B1 before it all ends everything, and it ended up working out just fine. Killed B1, and then B2 doesn't really have any legs to stand on against bounty hunters, and he doesn't have anyone to heal him, and it was a pretty easy 53 once I kind of cracked the code. It was a little tricky though, because the traditional way is to kill B2 instead of anyone else. And in this case, I think the right answer, at least in that particular matchup, was to use just to take out Nute, then B1, like I showed you. So easy enough. People lately have been telling me that General Grievous, or rather that Bossk is kind of worthless, and I would just advise people to look at the multitudinous ways that Bossk is actually just a total badass. He is so strong, especially in 3v3. It is completely crazy what you can do with them. So the back had Malevolence. That's great. We can always take that out with General Kenobi fleet. I have a pretty good formula for that. And the question is, how was I going to clear the back 3 squads? If my opponent didn't attack, then it wouldn't really matter. But for me, it mattered quite a bit that I would actually be able to take these squads down. So I decided I wanted to try taking out this old Ben team with Nest and Kira. And so you can see here, old Ben lead. That means that they have extra evasion. That doesn't matter for Nest, who doesn't ever miss. The big question would be, could this Wampa actually just like one-shot Nest if I got unlucky? Or could I just control the situation and take out Wampa before anything else happened? The answer was I could just take them out at will, and I ended up feeling extremely disappointed in myself that I had taken Kira. Even though Kira is pretty strong with Nest as the lead, Nest did finish with full protection. If I had just taken Nest alone, I would have gotten a 55, which is obviously more than 52. So anyways, I did get the win against a somewhat tricky team. 2 taunts and Wampa. It's pretty solid. So now they have their own Nest in here. They have their own Kira. And the question is, how exactly do we approach things? And so truthfully, this Nest was a little scary. I think she's Relic 5 or something like that. I don't have WAT available because I used WAT with Darth Vader, if you recall. So the question is, how do I counter this squad? And the answer is, you just put that there's nothing preventing. There's no dispels here. So if you do the 2-turn stun on Nest, she just stays stunned for 2 turns. So she just took a turn, and she's still in stealth, which is fantastic. Decided to do a couple big hits, and I didn't even need to wait for her to take another turn. Just took her out really easy. So 54 banners there. First order are perfect against Nest teams, and we can move on to the final squad. I have Padme available. I have some random Night Sisters that I had forgotten to put on defense available. I had Emperor Palpatine. Lots of different squads that can beat this kind of random Poe, Scav, Holdo squad. And I had thought initially that maybe Nest could solo this team, and I still think maybe I could. I do think though the Scavenger Ray poses a pretty significant threat to the life of Nest. I think maybe it's possible that Scav can one-shot her, so I decided not to do that in favor of that old Ben team. And as it stands, this combination of teams, it's just not good. 54 with Padme, who has no way of regenerating protection. So they did so little damage, that it actually didn't end up scratching my bonus protection, my small bonus protection. So now all that was left was fleets, and I'd gotten all one-shots so far. I was feeling pretty good about my total score, and decided to donate some to one of the people watching in my guild first there. And so the fleet here that you see is just the fleet that you use against Malevolence using Negotiator. This is a pretty tried and true method. I have not failed it or even come close since I kind of discovered it. Actually, my friend Deranged told me about it, just so we're being super clear. And you want to focus on Sunfac first here. If Sunfac isn't there, then you can just focus on whoever. You just need to make sure that you're trying to get the big hit with Sunfac to take out, or rather, the big hit to take out Vulture and one other ship. So as you can see, I had target lock on both of them, and then Fives was able to just take them out. Now, they did put buzz droids on our fleet, so the next character or ship that you want to bring in is Plo. He's going to dispel those buzz droids because those can take down your fleet super quick if you're not careful. And now we're just trying to drag this hyena bomber down before they get too many reinforcements or it's too difficult. As you can see, there's another ship that's arrived, and that is what it is. We want to just take out hyena bomber. Still, he's kind of the crux of the fleet, and he is super tough to get through. So just need to keep focusing on him, and then we'll have time to focus on that Geo Spy in a little bit. Or maybe it's Soldier. I always forget which one is which. Maybe you guys noticed. I'm not going to go back and see what kind of debuffs he put on me, or if any. But one way or another, it doesn't matter that much. So now the question was, like, could I keep them? Yeah, it is Spy. Could I keep Spy from going into stealth once I hit him? And I could have if I'd actually landed. The buff immunity obviously didn't land there. So the question was now, which AoE do I do? Do I do the ultimate or do I use the mass assist AoE? And now we just need to take out Spy, which worked out just fine with Fives, and we ended up with 63 banners and a full one shot of everything. And that was that. Sorry you guys haven't been able to see the score this whole time. That's just how it works with the Friday night live stream and solo being a little bit tipsy. So in the end, my opponent did attack. They cleared that bottom zone, and then they just stopped. They didn't even try anything else on any of my teams. They did fail once against General Grievous, which I thought was funny, and then they just stopped. And that is that. You can see Jedi Luke did get taken out. I later learned that it was like a Jedi Revan squad that was faster than Hermit Yoda. They just took him out real easy, just dropped a couple small banners, maybe even just one, maybe like 53'd it. So obviously not the right iteration of Jedi Luke on defense, though it did draw out a squad, and then they lost to my General Grievous squad. I'm trying to remember what they used. Oh yeah, they used Night Sisters is what they tried to use, and they failed, obviously. So awesome. And after that one loss for them, like they wouldn't be able to actually beat me because of my score. 2462 is a pretty dang high score, actually, pretty efficient, especially because I had a pretty inefficient fight against their Rey to start the match. So anyways, folks, I'm gonna let you go here. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.